everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you all for tuning in. Tonight I want to talk about the brand new Collective Soul album, Here to Eternity, released May 17th, 2024. It's the band's 12th studio album, first double album, and first album since 2022's Vibrating. So this double album concept is something that Ed Roland has wanted to do since back on Blood. That was originally intended to be a double album. It got split into two albums because the record company basically told Ed that bands don't do that anymore, so we wound up getting Blood and Vibrating as a result. This time around, Ed gets his wish to do a double album. This was recorded in Elvis's house, which I think is a pretty cool tidbit of information, and this is a pretty nice addition to the Collective Soul catalog, if I do say so myself. So, as you can see here, I got the CD. Got a pretty cool CD print there. The booklet here is fairly standard, but definitely has some nice pictures on the inside. All the lyrics to the songs, pretty much what you want in a booklet. Another collage here on the back, and some more great pictures. That probably looks really cool on the vinyl edition, I would imagine, but I decided to get the CD. It all fits onto one disc, so I was kind of looking forward to having two discs, but I guess for the CD version, it all fits onto one disc, so that's what they did. To address the elephant in the room, basically, when it comes to what I've noticed is the chief complaint of this album amongst Collective Soul fans, is that it doesn't have a lot of big rock tracks. In fact, the two singles, Mother's Love and Bluer Than So Blue, are probably the biggest, most hard-rocking, straightforward Collective Soul tracks on the whole album. This album there goes into a myriad of different directions, but does mellow out over the course of its runtime. Most of the rock songs seem to be front-loaded onto this album, with a lot of mellower songs down the stretch. This album, to me, kind of comes in three distinct sections. The first section of this album is the first 7 songs, which I think is a fantastic stretch of songs. Mother's Love, the album's first single, has a killer guitar riff, something very reminiscent of Where the River Flows off the 95 95 self-titled album. Bluer Than So Blue was my favorite of the two singles. It's got a great Will Turpin bass line and great Ed Roland kind of bizarro lyrics opening up with the line, I heard the phone ring when I was a bird in the bush, the conversation is always such and such. Classic Ed Roland. He's one that writes some very unique lyrics, and it usually works. Let It Flow, I think, really shows Ed's love for the Cars, maybe more so than Hollywood did on Afterwards, because I really get a strong Cars vibe off of Let It Flow, but it's another great song. Feels very 80s new wave-ish meets Collective Soul. Not the same as a ballad of sorts that has a strong Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers vibe to it. Another great song. Bob Dylan, Where Are You Today? I quite like this song. I do wish that they would have done a studio version of it, because it does seem weird to have a live track sort of right in the middle of the album. And my only thing about this song, and I like this song, but there's one part of it that drives me nuts, and it's the harmonica solo, which is good for the most part, but when it gets to the end of that solo, and it kind of gets a little self-indulgent, it reminds me of when somebody sings the American National Anthem at a NASCAR race or a football game or any other sporting event here in the U.S., and they get to the line, the land of the free, and they have to hold that note on free for like 2.5 hours, and it gets really irritating. That last note is just held for too long, and it kind of made me afraid that my glasses were going to crack. It's just that one little bit of the song kind of drives me nuts, but otherwise it's a really great song. I just wish there would have been a studio rendition of it, and I want to check here. I should have done this before I started recording. It says who does the harmonica. It is Ed Roland that plays the harmonica. That's what I thought. So, yeah, I think it gets a little bit too much there, but otherwise, I think it's a fantastic song. Hey Man is a great sort of laid-back rocker. Seems to be a bit of a call-out song. I don't know if Ed was pissed at somebody, but this seems to be one of those smashing young man type songs that seems to be directed towards somebody, but it's done in the peace and love vibe of Ed Roland. And Kick It rounds out this first section of the album. It's another great rockin' track, very collective soul feeling. I love it. So that first part of this album is fantastic. We get into the second leg of the album. This is going to be the next 6 songs. This is the weak stretch of the album for me. This one has a lot of the experimental and sort of bizarre tracks to it. My favorite track in this stretch by far is Keep It On Track. I think it's the most... It's not really a heavy rock song, but it's kind of a mellow rock song. It would have actually made a cool opener in my opinion, and it would open up the second disc had this been split into 2 discs. And I think it'd be a cool way to open something up, but I do really love Keep It On Track. Matter of Fact is the first track in this stretch for me. It's track number 8. It's a swing feeling track. It's got a nice groove to it, and I could almost get into it, but in my opinion, it's some of the worst lyrics that Ed Roland has ever put forth. Sister and Mary is another really bizarre track that I really don't know what to make of. Brianna from the Collective Soul fan group said that it's circus music, and I can't think of a better description because it's really just a circus clown feeling song with a really bizarre story for a song. I don't know if it's any kind of a true story or where it came from, but it's just a really weird story on top of a really weird track. So there you have it. La Di Da closed out this section as track 13. You could convince me that that was an old folk song from like the 1850s because it really feels like it. So those 3 tracks, I don't really know quite what to make of them. Maybe they'll grow on me, maybe they won't, but I just have no idea how to take those 3 tracks. They're the weird tracks. For me, Be the One is a nice little track. It's a piano-driven track. It's nothing too special. I don't think it stands on its own feet very well, nor does it really recover from the weaker tracks that are before it. And then Who Loves is the other song in this section, which I think is a really nice, bright, sunshiny feeling track. The lyrics are kind of a cross between Matter of Fact, which was earlier on this album, and She Does from the 2009 Rabbit album. I think you kind of mix the lyrics of those two, plop it onto Who Loves. That's kind of what it makes me think of. But I really do love the bright feeling of those guitar chords in that song. The last section of this album is very laid back, mellow, a lot of ballads or pseudo ballads, whatever you would want to call them. It begins with Bring On the Day, which is one of my favorite tracks on the whole album. Another great upbeat feeling collective soul song. Not really a ballad, but definitely a mellow type of a song. You have Words Away, No Man's Land, which are 2 decent songs. Kind of remind me of each other though. Letter from E is a nice soft song, acoustic. One of my favorites on the album, one of my favorites of this last stretch of tracks here. I Know You, You Know Me. Therapy is a nice track as well. And then the album closer, Over and Out, which is another slower acoustic song. So you have a lot of mellower tracks there down the stretch. So I think this is a nice addition to the catalog for Collective Soul. I don't know that I would quite put it amongst my favorite Collective Soul albums, but it is definitely better than my least favorite as well. So it kind of winds up going somewhere mid-pack, which I'm going to do an album ranking here. I probably will wind up posting it about the same time as this review, so if you're interested in seeing that, please go check that out. But at the end of the day, I think this is a great album. Lots of great stuff on here. I think the beauty of this is that whatever kind of collective soul you're into, I kind of think you'll find something on here for you, even if it's the straightforward hard rock, which there's not a lot of, but there still is Mother's Love and Bluer Than So Blue. So, if you like the more bizarro, experimental type collective soul, you've got Matter of Fact, Sister and Mary, La Di Da. If you like mellower songs, then you've got a boatload here to explore. So, great stuff all the way around, Here to Eternity. I think it's a fantastic album. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the brand new Collective Soul album. If you like this kind of content, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel for more videos like this in the future, and I will catch you next time.